Hey guys, Oscar Combs here with the ISO 9001 group with another episode of the ISO Show. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the February ransomware attack that was done on UnitedHealth. Now, UnitedHealth discovered that they had suffered a ransomware cyber attack. The CEO of UnitedHealth testified to Congress that UnitedHealth paid $22 million to the hackers. Let me say that again. $22 million was paid to get the data back. The CEO estimates that it may cost the company around $1.6 billion. Now that's including the 22 million, a total of 1.6 billion to fully recover in the upcoming years. How can ransomware affect your business? Let's talk about it. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened. So this is what we know that occurred. It was testified before Congress. So who is UnitedHealth? UnitedHealth is one of the largest companies in the world, not the United States, in the world, with roughly $450 billion market capitalization. Now, on February the 21st, UnitedHealth discovered that they had suffered a ransomware attack through one of its subsidiaries, Change Healthcare. That was the actual organization that the attackers attacked, the server of Change Healthcare. Now, Change Healthcare is the largest U.S. clearinghouse for medical insurance claims. So a clearinghouse is kind of like a middleman for the transactions between the providers and the doctors, the hospitals, the pharmacies, and the patients and the insurance companies and like Medicare, Medicaid. So you can imagine all of the sensitive information going back and forth here. Patients' sensitive information of doctors, the different prescriptions that patients may have, and all the confidential information that none of us would want exposed to anyone on the internet. So of course, people are worried about their private healthcare information being exposed. But beyond the patients, it's all the proprietary information, all the intellectual property, all of these types of things are things that are being held up in ransomware. Now, Change Healthcare processes more than 15 billion, it's amazing, it's a lot, billing transactions, 15 billion billing transactions per year. And so they, on their website, they say that 1 in 3 patient records are in their system. 1 in 3. Wow. So once the company determined that they had been hacked, they disconnected the affected systems, but it was a little too late because the ransomware attackers had already gained access to the data, to all of the information, and they also left many of the doctors temporarily unable to fill prescriptions and to get paid for the services that the doctors were providing because they had to take the system down. Now, UnitedHealth, based up on their investigation, said in February that there was this ransom group called Black Cat was behind the ransom attack, okay? Now, what Black Cat does is that they go and they steal sensitive information from organizations such as UnitedHealth and I've heard their name several other times. They've attacked very large organizations and governmental agencies. And so their goal is to steal sensitive data, information, files, and then they threaten to publish that information. And to not publish the information, they require a ransom. So it's a ransom on your data. So if your company was impacted by or would be impacted by ransomware, what they're doing is saying that we have all of your data, all of your files, they're encrypted, and if you want them back, you need to pay us some money. So on May 1st, the CEO of UnitedHealth, Andrew Whitty, he testified and confirmed that UnitedHealth paid a $22 million ransom. Wow, that's amazing that, you're just able to fork over $22 million. It takes a lot of time, effort, investment to generate $22 million. And because of poor security controls, cybersecurity controls, they had to pay $22 million. And we'll talk about a very simple thing that they could have had in place on this server that would have prevented this. And even the CEO said this. The CEO, Mr. Whitty, told the committee that the cyber criminals accessed the Change Healthcare server and it was not protected by multi-factor authentication, MFA, or two-factor authentication. You guys know what that is. Is when you go to log in, they ask you for, to put in a phone number or email address that only you have access to, and then you get a code, and then you can put the code in. So in this case, UnitedHealthcare did not have any of that in place on that server, and that's how the cyber criminals got into their system. So let's talk a little bit more about what ransomware is. So ransomware, and I did a video on ransomware maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But ransomware is a type of malware attack in which the cyber criminals, they attack your server, they lock all your files, and they encrypt them. So you may see your file, but you can't open it, you can't read anything. So they literally shut your whole company down, and then they demand payment if you want them to decrypt your data or your files, right? Now, but they already have your files. That's the other thing. Okay, you may get your files back, but these criminals already have your files. So you can pay the ransom, that's fine. You get to continue on at a loss, but they still have your files. There's no honor amongst thieves, guys. So just because you pay a ransom, and now they say, man, this company pays. So now let's see how we can leverage their data. Well, we gave them access back to their data, but how can we get more money? These guys can't trust these guys. They have no integrity. All right, so these types of ransomware attacks, they take advantage of human behavior, poor systems, poor network security, software vulnerabilities. This is how they get into your system through the computer, through the printer, through the Apple Watch, through the Apple phone, all of these devices that people connect to the network, the iPad, right? All of these things are connected to your company's network. So what they do, or even through email, you guys know people, you get those emails and they try to make it look like it's coming from another company, a phishing email, and me, I'm able to see them pretty easily, because if you go to the sender's email address, you can always see it may say a real company name, but if you look at the email in great detail, you can see that it's not coming from that company. And then you can see that, okay, yeah, this email doesn't look right, but you got this little link. You want me to click on this link. So sometimes, guys, we just got to think about it. But sometimes people are busy. They're just clicking. It's what probably somebody did at UnitedHealth. They clicked on something and they allowed these attackers to get into the network. So once the device and the network is infected with the ransomware software, then they're able to get in there, lock your network down, lock all your files down, encrypt things so you can't read them. You can see your files and you can't do anything with them. We have clients that were impacted by ransomware. This client paid like $10 million to get their data back. But really what you're paying for is just to get access to your data back. Your data has already been compromised and exposed. So whether you pay or don't pay, your data is out there. It's just a matter of you trying to get access to your data again, and you're also trying to limit the attackers from exposing data further. Let's talk about some common ways they try to get into your system, guys. A lot of these things are pretty simple if we're paying attention. So they have these phishing emails, like I talked about previously, where they may attach a file that's corrupted or infected with the ransomware. So you click on the link or you download the file, and it's loading this malware. Malicious software is malware, and it's downloading that onto maybe a local computer. And then if that computer or device is of course connected to your network, of course, then it makes its way into your network files. Also through, as I mentioned, the email attachments, believe it or not, social media. You know, you're clicking on those links on social media, you know, all these different suspicious characters that they try to get you to click on things. That's another way. It's just clicking on stuff, or they are able to then, when you click on things, you're clicking on an executable file that looks like an attachment. So quit clicking on stuff. That's one easy way to avoid these kind of attacks, because we feel like we got to click on everything. I don't click on everything, guys. I don't know about you, right? And then they install all these infected programs onto your device. So let's just be careful. These are some of the common ways they try to get us, guys. All right, now, how can ransomware impact your business? That's what I want to talk to you about, because a lot of companies still don't seem to respect or appreciate that their company could be vulnerable to things like ransomware attacks, or just to cybersecurity attacks, cyber attacks in general. So a big old company, the biggest company, one of the biggest companies in the world, UnitedHealth. So just imagine your company. You know, this company has, the largest IT department and all of the money and resources that they can throw at an issue. But they didn't have something simple as multi-factor authentication installed. So does your company have that? You know, you guys, you don't want to be in a situation where you come in one day, you're trying to work, and you can't access anything. You can't access engineering drawings. You can't access your customer files, your project files, your calculations, you know, your work orders, your purchase orders. You can't access your bank statements, your financial statements. I mean, you're shut down. Who wants to go through that? You know, all of your company's confidential and proprietary information is exposed when these attackers attack your company through ransomware. You just think about all of the sensitive information that that you guys hold close to your chest. And now another company, or shall I say criminal organization, has all of your information, some bad actors. And now they're threatening to expose your company's information. And what about your customers' information? See, because UnitedHealth wasn't only their information, it was the doctor's information, all of the doctor's patients' information, all of the companies that they pay. So there's a lot of people impacted by this one attack. So just like UnitedHealth, it could be your customers' information, your suppliers' information, your information, of course. So it's not just you. And what about when your customer has a non-disclosure in place with your company? Now, your company has been hacked with malware. Cyber criminals have your customers or your clients' confidential data that you promise to protect, right? So your customer could possibly be suing you. So see, these ransomware and cybersecurity controls are very important, but still many companies are not taking it very seriously. UnitedHealth is one example, but what about your company? Are you taking cyber attacks, cybersecurity serious in your company? Just because you're small or a mid-sized company, don't think that they won't attack you. Because maybe you have government contracts that you're working on. Guess what? You are a prime candidate, because now they get access to governmental documents, things of this nature. You guys know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about some steps your organization can take to prevent cyber attacks such as ransomware. All right, guys. So, I'm going to give you 10 things that you can look at. I want you to look at so that your company does not have to go through this. How embarrassing. You have to stand before Congress, talk about how these hackers got all your information. This could be, one of us in our companies having to go call all of your customers and your clients. Hey, we've been attacked. We can't get we don't have access to our files, but these cyber criminals, they have access to all of your records. Imagine having to tell that to your customers. We wouldn't want to do that. So the first thing is that, guys, you can implement standards like ISO 27001. I think it's currently on version 2022. And it provides so many internationally recognized cybersecurity controls, or information security is what 27001 calls it. But in there, it also outlines many information security or cybersecurity controls that your company can put in place that would prevent this. One of those is basically what caused UnitedHealth, the multi-factor authentication is one of the things in ISO 27001. Guys, another thing, install antivirus software on your computers. I don't care which one you use. We use Norton 360. It works very well. It needs to be on every device, every computer. They even have it for phones. They have it for iPads. Any of these, what they call endpoints, so how people can get into your network. You want to protect those because the antivirus will block many of these attacks. And you want to get it on every computer, everyone's computer. Anybody that has a computer and is also tied to the network, maybe they even work remotely. Even if you work remotely, we're going to make sure that you have antivirus software on your computer, because your computer in your house, as you're working remotely, is tied to the company's network. All right, so we need to be mindful on that. Just simple antivirus software. Implement multi-factor authentication. That's how one of these large companies like UnitedHealth got hit. They didn't have it on this one server. And it was one of their subsidiaries, which is also a very large company. I'm sure with very large IT departments. So again, what is that? That's where you try to log in. You have to put in a device that you have control of. Could be a phone number so you can get a text. Could be an email address or only you have access to that email or to that computer. And then once you try to log in, you'll get a code. You put the code in, right? So if a cyber criminal tried to log in and you had this enabled, see, they wouldn't get the code. A code would come to your phone, and then you say, oh, somebody's trying to log in and it's not me. So somebody's trying to get in my password, use my username, use my password, right? Multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication, very important, guys. Install firewalls on your network, right? So you can put up some barriers where people are not able to just get into your server, right? So you have controls in place. What they call endpoint protection. So endpoint security is kind of what I mentioned, where we are protecting all the endpoints. So these are things like the desktops, the laptops, the mobile devices, just protecting those endpoints of access from malicious attacks. And what about data backups? Okay, well, they got your data. Okay, well, you got my data. I can't read it, but I have backup. So I'm not going to pay you $22 million because I have a backup. Now, in the case of UnitedHealth, I'm sure they have backups, but the issue was with all of the confidential information, because as I mentioned, these criminals do not operate with integrity. So just because they give you back access to your files doesn't mean that they still will not proceed with releasing that information, that confidential information, or trying to use it to leverage to get money from even the people, your customers or your patients, right? So they could be contacting them. Hey, that's another reason why a lot of individuals are getting hit, because bigger companies that have their information, like their address, social security, credit card number, birthday, they're getting attacked because companies that they do business with have been attacked. And those companies are supposed to tell you. And in many cases, those companies are not disclosing that they have been attacked. So backing up your data will give you the ability to kind of not be held up by the ransomware. Okay, you got our files, great, keep them. We have more copies of our files, so you're able to kind of restore your network. They also have this rule called 3-2-1. This is where you have 3 backup copies of your files and your data, and you have it on 2 different types of media, right? Could be in the cloud, could be a backup drive or backup server. And then you also have 1 backup stored in a separate location. So, making sure you have redundant backups so that if they get you in one place, great, have that, take it offline. That's bringing the backup online, right? Patches. Make sure you guys are updating your applications, your plugins, things that you have on your devices, your websites, just any of the apps that you're using, because those developers, they release patches trying to protect from the latest security vulnerabilities. And if your company is not updating those patches, those cyber criminals are just looking for someone that's not doing that. And we don't want that to be us, right? Train the employees. Train employees. I know one thing we do is that we send out fake emails, right? Just drills to employees. And if they're clicking on the link, we may have a discussion, or they may have to do more training. but we're trying to get them not to just click on every link that they see. So you have to spend time training the employees on cybersecurity controls, phishing emails, spam protection, using the antivirus software, scanning their drives, all of these things, multi-factor authentication. Spend time training the employees, because the employees sometimes are busy, not thinking, and they're just clicking and trying to get work done. But boom, you get hit with a $22 million ransom and all your files are locked up. And make sure you're monitoring your network. Ransomware detection, make sure you're monitoring things. You can install software onto the server and in different places where you can get alerts and you can get reports. There's companies that can do that for you, where, if someone's trying to do an intrusion onto your network, you'll get a notification. All right, guys, well, that's a lot of money. $22 million, and it's going to cost them approximately $1.6 billion. Wow. Guys, it's cheaper to do all of these things. To me, it's just cheaper to do all these 10 things that we talked about. Implement ISO 27001. If you need help in those areas, make sure to give us a call. We can help you. Hey guys, Oscar Combs here with the ISO 9001 group, trying to help organizations improve their operations and reduce their risk. Make sure you like and follow this video. Make a comment. Let me know what you think about it as well. But until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye now.